This is the Zim video, and this is my why I drive for Lyft and 1 year review video combined. I've been wanting to make a video about driving for Lyft for a while, like why I do it. Been my 1 year on February 2nd, 2018. I wanted to make a video collage, I guess we can call it, because I'm tired of making talking head videos. Let me give you a couple bullet points about this video. First off, I'm gonna tell you who I am, and then I'm gonna tell you why I drive for Lyft, and then I'm gonna tell you my 1 year review. And the why I drive for Lyft and my 1 year review will probably be combined into one big mess. So let me tell you about me real quick. I'm the Zim, artist and musician from Seattle, Washington, currently living in San Diego. I'm a father, a fighter, a rhymer, a writer. To put it straight, I create. I define myself as a creator above everything else. Doesn't matter what medium, music, art, videos, whatever. I just like to create. So I gotta tell you why I'm in San Diego, and it plays a factor into why I'm a rideshare driver. In 2016, my ex-wife, we have kids together, she wanted to move to San Diego. So I was like, I don't know at first, but eventually, and we all decided to move. So I made my way here the beginning of 2017. And in that process, I was thinking like, well, I don't want to get another 9-to-5 job. I'm just not into it. I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to be more self-employed. Because I'm an artist and musician as well, I wanted to find a way to spend more time doing my art and music. So this idea of being a rideshare driver started to percolate in my brain. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm going to try this out. This seems to be the right thing for me. This is what I want to do. And in around January 2017, when I moved here, I was starting to get serious of like, hey man, I got about a month of cash left. I need to start working in February. Let's get this ball rolling. So my first intention was to drive for Uber. The Uber people, the Uber communication just wasn't happening for me. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just check out Lyft. I'll go to the Lyft site and sign up. So I signed up for Lyft, and it felt like within a week or so, I was driving for Lyft. So that's my story about why I'm driving for Lyft, and I'm okay with it. At the time, you know, Uber was going through a bunch of scandals and whatnot. They had that strike breaking thing go on in New York City. Travis, their CEO, was starting to get a lot of bad press for his behavior. News about drivers was coming out that they're bad and all this kind of things about Uber drivers kind of going crazy. And so I was like, oh, okay, I don't mind so much that I'm on the platform right now that has the perception of being the better of the two platforms. So once I signed up and started rolling, I did my first ride on February 2nd, 2017. And I was pretty excited. I was ready to go. I was feeling good about life. I was like, yeah, I think this will be a good job for me. It took me about a week to figure out the rhythm, because at first I was very, very paranoid about the idea of having to drive the overnight shift and dealing with drunk people and throw up. I did not want to deal with throw up. I was like, no throw up for me, please. So I was thinking that was the only time that you could probably make money at this job, because that's all I knew about it. At first I thought like, you know, that's when people needed rides most, was to go to parties and get drunk and all that stuff. However, as I learned quickly within a week or so, I was like, oh shoot, I can make money at this job during the day. I don't need to drive the night shift. And as I've learned over the year, you know, there's lots of reasons people need rides. Go to work in the morning, get up from their parties from the night before, they're going to school. Basically a ride available for you any time of day, all day, you know, anywhere you are. There's somebody that needs a ride somewhere. So I learned that pretty quick, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't want to do the overnight shifts. I'm not going to do it. So over the year, I honed my skills, and I discovered how I needed to do this job to make it sustainable for me. So let's talk about how I made it sustainable. The first thing I should talk about is I was putting in way too many hours at first. And not only was I putting way too many hours at trying to drive this job, being a full-time driver, I was also doing my art, my music, being a father, doing my podcast. And every moment I had, I was trying to work and fill in every second. And I was able to maintain that for about 3 months at the top. I'd be at home waiting for a ride. I'd be working on my art, my music, my podcast. And then when I got a ride, and I would jump up and go take it and leave my house and go do the thing, and then come back and start working again. One of the main things that happened during that time was my car, 2006 Toyota Sienna, pretty rad car. I loved it. It started to have issues. It was telling me, look, man, you're driving me way too much. I'm a 2006 car. You're just putting way too many miles on me. I can't handle this job. And it started like, it seemed like every other week something was going down that I had to bring it into the shop for, and it just wasn't happening. So what I decided to do before the car decided to stop working completely, I sold it, got some money for it, paid off a little bit of debt, and jumped over to the Express Drive program. And when I was in the Express Drive program, it started in May 2017, and it coincided with summer starting, and my kids were going off to a long summer vacation with their mom. So I was able to dedicate a lot of time to driving, and I was trying to put in as much time driving as I possibly could. And what happened was I burnt myself out. A combination of driving so much, but plus when I moved to San Diego up till May, I was trying to work multiple jobs all at the same time, trying to hustle, trying to grind, trying to do that thing, and it caught up to me hard. I don't remember the exact date, but at a point I was like, this is not sustainable. This is not gonna work. So to make a long story short, what I figured out how to do and what I needed to do to make this job sustainable for me was to do a 24 ride count strategy. And what I'm talking about is every day I drive 5 days a week. I make sure I take 2 days off a week. The 5 days I drive, I go for 24 rides a day. So by doing the 24 ride count strategy, it covers the rides I need for the Express Drive rental program. So being in the rental program, they set you up in a bonus structure so that you get a bonus for putting in the rides. And currently in San Diego, as of February 6th, 2018, the bonus structure is such that the top tier bonus is $200 for getting 110 rides in, and 40 of them have to be at certain times of the day, which are called peak time rides. The bonus pays for the rental, so it's just not cost effective to not get that top tier bonus, because the rental currently costs $225 a week. The top tier bonus is $200, so I'm still paying Lyft and Hertz $25 a week to rent the car. So what I do is, to get my 24 rides in per day, Monday through Friday, I start at 6 a.m. and get my first 10 rides. That way I get 2 hours, 6 to 8 a.m. I get 2 hours of peak time rides. Then I finish off the 10 rides by about 11 a.m. I take a break till about 3 p.m., start up then, and go until I get my last 14. Monday through Friday, that's the rhythm I use. On Saturdays and Sundays, I usually start around 9 a.m. on Saturdays and go straight until I get my 14 rides, maybe throwing in an hour break somewhere in there. The peak time rides at this time start at 4 p.m. on Saturdays with a 1 hour break at 8 p.m. where they don't offer the peak time rides, and then start up again at 9 p.m. And then they do it again on Sunday. I usually start really early on Sunday because that is actually my favorite time to drive. Sunday morning is my favorite time to drive because there's no drivers on the road. There's less like general drivers. There's less, rideshare drivers on the road because most rideshare drivers focus on Fridays and Saturdays, and they take Sundays off, so that leaves more availability open for me to get rides. And then it's just chill, and all my passengers are chill. They either just need to get back to their cars from partying the night before. Some of me people need to go to work, and then the brunch crowd in San Diego starts rolling in, and people just want to go get their brunch on and their bottomless mimosas. So I just love driving Sunday mornings. I drive Sunday mornings from like 6 or 7 in the morning and just go straight until I get my 24 rides. And I've usually taken care of my peak time rides before Sunday hits, so that's good. So I don't have to worry about the peak time rides that are offered at, I think it starts at 5 p.m. and goes till like 10 p.m. What this 24 ride count strategy means to me is I don't typically drive more than 24 rides per day. Some days I can make $100, some days I can make $250 within the 24 rides. It's crazy. There's no predictability, there's no consistency. It's just the way it works. It's a crazy job. What I've discovered is I just go for those rides. It typically gets what I want covered for the week, because the 110 rides of the rental bonus usually isn't enough for me to make the money I want to make for the week. So getting the 120 rides in per week typically gets me the amount of money that I want to make for the week, plus covers the rides I need for the rental bonus. And what I do to make sure I don't burn myself out anymore is I always take 2 days off a week, and it's usually Monday and Tuesdays. Even though Monday is a good way to drive, it's just typically the way it works out. By the time Monday comes, I'm ready for a break, and so I'll just take 2 days off in a row, Monday and Tuesdays. Sometimes I shuffle it around, but most of the times I take Monday and Tuesday off. And then I work Wednesday through Sunday, and I go for 24 rides each day. And when I hit those 24 rides, I stop, because even though on the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, it's much better, and usually I can get my 24 rides quicker, I stop anyways to make sure that I'm getting myself the rest. Because when the next day comes around that I'm working, I don't want to be burnt out. By making sure that I stop when I hit my 24 rides, I'm good to go. And I work the average. Instead of looking at it a per day thing, going like how much am I making per day, I look at the average of per week. What's going on that whole week? The 5 days I'm working for the week usually works out to get me the money I want to make. And one of the other big factors that made this job sustainable was figuring out how to do this job based on the experience of doing it. Unfortunately, what I've found, the platform itself, Lyft, does not teach us as drivers how to be the most efficient and how to actually make this job sustainable. What I found is Lyft prioritizes the passenger over the driver. They're not trying to make the job a sustainable place full-time drivers like myself can feel good about and make a confident living off of. They want to have as many drivers on the road as possible because they don't want the passengers to wait. What I've learned I have to do as a driver, I can't pay attention to what Lyft tries to tell me. Prime time incentives and all this kind of stuff. The advantage for me as a driver is to study my area, to know where I need to drive and go, I get good drives from here. This is the type of drives I get at this time of day at this area. And it rotates around depending on where you are in the city, what time you decide to drive. It makes a big difference. So it's important for me as a driver to study my area and go, okay, this is what works for me as a driver to make this job sustainable. Let's just cut to the chase here. Do I like this job? Not as much as I liked it when I first started. What I like about it is this channel, this show. Making a YouTube show, if it wasn't for driving for Lyft, I wouldn't have as many subscribers on this channel. Do I recommend this job to other people? Sure, it all depends on what you want out of it. If you want to be a full-time driver, I'd say make sure you have your own car. Don't do the Express Drive program. The Express Drive program is a little bit of a trap. If you're in it, you don't get any sick days. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to do. Basically, what I think about it, I think the best time to drive is on the weekends. Friday and Saturdays, do this part-time, use your own car. That's what I would do if I could. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm planning on going back to school in 2019, grad school. So I got about another year in me of driving for Lyft. I'm okay with it because I still rather drive for Lyft than work for somebody else. Doing a 9-to-5 hustle, not my thing. If you want to learn more about it from me, feel free to ask me. I'm down. Subscribe to this channel. Yeah, that's what you got to do. And then check out my older videos. I've been doing this for a year, talking about my experience driving for Lyft, and I go into details on a lot of different ideas, so I'd love it if you checked it out. There's obviously a ton more stuff I could talk about, and I do on the rideshare experience videos that I make, so be sure to check it out. I'll just leave it at this for now. Like I said, if you have any questions for me, be sure to let me know. Post in the comments. If you like this video, thumb it up. Subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. As of now, I only have 540 subscribers. I need to get 1,000 so I can actually start making money off the channel again. So help me out. All right, talk to you again soon. Peace.